What's up guys, Zach here, and have you ever wondered what an indie game costs? Well, it definitely does vary depending on the scope, but in this video, while discussing Night of the Forgotten Realms budget and how much of it's been used up so far, there will be numerous unreleased and released indie games featured in the background with their names and estimated budgets. My hope is that by the end of this video, you'll understand what goes into creating a budget for an indie game, the range of costs to make one, and maybe you'll even add a few indie games on your list to play, as each featured will be linked in the description below. So without further delay, let's dive in. When it comes to making a budget for anything, you should typically research a fair bit into comparable products, in this case, video games. You should also think about how much you're willing to spend and how much you're actually able to spend. Those are two very different things, and also just how to best maximize that money. So first off, for researching comparables, I knew that indie games have a massive range in terms of cost, but side-scrollers like Night of the Forgotten Realm tend to be fairly cheap. However, since my game is utilizing a more realistic art style, that instantly upped the cost if I wanted to maintain my timeline, because while I could probably pull off pixel art and manage that all on my own, the extra triangles, not so much. Secondly, I did have to think about what I wanted and was able to spend. While playing The Elder Scrolls Online one night almost a year ago, I got to thinking what a good budget would be for my very first game. I thought about it in a few different ways. One hand, I have a decent disposable income. I'm very fortunate to be in that position, so I could have technically fronted a budget of $10,000 or more. However, Night of the Forgotten Realm is my very first game, and at the points I was thinking about this budget, I didn't even know if I would enjoy game development. I never booted up a game engine yet. I also had to ask myself, would I be comfortable tossing $10,000 into the nether, especially considering I've seen numerous videos where indie devs only made $5,000 or less 1 year after the game launched. Would I be fine with increasing the likelihood that I don't even break even? For my very first game, I decided it would not be smart for me to go in with a $10,000 budget, even if I could afford it, as my goal with Night of the Forgotten Realm is to create a solid foundation that I could use to fundraise for my next grander game. Lastly, I had to think about what I'd actually spend money on. I knew that Character Creator 3 had a trial version, so I'd be able to create some characters with that. Unreal Engine developers also have access to Megascan, so a lot of environmental stuff would be free. The Unreal Engine Marketplace has free assets every month, and some of those could help fill out portions of the project. Paid assets generally cost on average $50 or less. Voice acting tends to run quite expensive, and art for cinematics would as well. After putting all of this into my supercomputer that is currently taking over the world through an army of cats, maybe even like the one next to you, it spat out a number similar to the top end budget I was thinking of originally, but with one less zero. That's right, I decided Night of the Forgotten Realms budget would be $1,000, an amount that I thought would be the right amount of money to buy everything that I need, and also an amount that I'd be fine never seeing again. That's an important piece. Money, I'm fine with never seeing again. I don't want to have any regret going down this rabbit hole. That said, this amount doesn't consider things like LLC costs, website costs, or general business startup costs. More on that in a bit. After about 7 months of development, where are we at so far? Well, let's discuss the Unreal Engine Marketplace purchases first. So far, I've logged 4 Marketplace purchases, each with various items within. The first purchase was $75, the second was $21, the third was $95, and the fourth was $11. These purchases were mostly models for enemies that you'll encounter in the game, but there was some that were pertaining to special effects and sound effects packs as well, bringing our marketplace purchases total to $202. There's still one particular item I'm looking to buy, so I estimate I'll spend $30 more on the marketplace to wrap up what I need. Now, artwork. Artwork is quite expensive, and so far I've had cover art completed for Night of the Forgotten Realm, which will be used on all of the platforms it releases on, and I've had some work done on the opening cinematic. The cover art was $81, and the artwork on the opening cinematic so far was $25, putting our total for art at $106. That said, I estimate that the entire opening cinematic will cost $125 more. This could be less if I didn't tip my artist, but frankly, I believe he's undercharging for how awesome he is. And the granddaddy of them all, voice work. Right now, Night of the Forgotten Realm has two voice actors, one who's delivered some lines and the other is waiting on my slow ass to give him some lines to deliver. The first voice actor charges $20 for 100 words, plus a commercial rights fee, and his first lines, which encompass the Soul Shatter system and the opening cinematic, cost a total of $130. Since the rest of the game still needs to be voiced, I estimate that I'll be spending an additional $350 on voice work. If my budget will be blown, it will be because of this area. After you total everything up so far for Night of the Forgotten Realm, I've spent $438, leaving $562 left to work with. Considering I estimate $350 is remaining for voice work, the opening cinematic will cost $130-ish or more. I have one last item I need from the marketplace, and I have to pay the $100 Steam fee. I'm looking at overshooting my budget by roughly $48. That said, anything can change, and it's possible I'll be a bit closer to my original $1,000 or a bit more over budget. It really just comes down to the voice acting. But what about those business startup costs that I was alluding to before? Well, as I mentioned, I didn't factor those into what I wanted Night of the Forgotten Realm to cost, but I did think that I'd let you all know where those numbers landed as well. My website that's currently in development costs $190 for 3 years of web hosting plus the domain through Bluehost. My logo and intro costs $110, and my LLC formation costs $375 for a total of $675. Keep in mind, you could go for far cheaper in each of those areas, but I did want to ensure that everything was good to go for a while, so I spent just a tad bit more. All in all, what I chose as my budget from the start gave me a great guideline to follow and will ensure that I don't overspend to a degree that I'll regret. While I know at this point I'll likely be over budget by anywhere between $100 to $200, with no budget I likely have spent far more. As a first-time indie game developer, ensuring you know how much you're willing to spend and also how much you're able to spend, what you want to spend money on, and having estimates on everything will allow you to breathe a bit more easily throughout the process. While for some, budgets may feel like you're trapped in a box, having a budget is far better than feeling loads of regret once your game is released, and please, for the love of your financial future, avoid debt while making a game. Unless you're an established company with numerous commercial titles under your belt, debt shouldn't even pop into your head. And also, I fully acknowledge that some folks just do everything from scratch and will spend absolutely no money when they make their first game. That is also an option as well. So guys, that's the budget I'm working with, and that's where I'm at so far. I hope you found this video very interesting and maybe even useful, and if you did, toss up a like and be sure to subscribe for more game development and industry related videos. If you want to play the latest alpha for Night of the Forgotten Realm, a link will be down below in the description, along with Helthurius Games' Twitter account. That does it for me though. My name is Zach, and I'll catch you all next time.